Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I have another layout using the June Roundabout Studio Calico kit, and this time I'm going to be using the speech bubble template from Studio Calico. So I'm just going through my scraps, and I believe there's 16 speech bubbles, so I'm just numbering them so that I remember what location that they should be sitting at, so it's not going to take me extra time to figure out where they need to go back. And I'm working down to my scraps, and that I just traced out, it was actually a journaling paper from Echo Park, because I want to put two places on the layout that I could put either a sentiment or some journaling. So I'm going to trace two of those out, and the rest is basically just scraps. And I thought maybe that I would try and do, this is the 19th layout, and it took me 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I thought maybe I would try and get one more layout out of this Studio Calico kit, but I don't think I can do it. And I don't think I'm going to keep any of the scraps either. I have to say this was probably my least favorite kit yet. So the fact that I still managed to get 19 pages done out of the kit, I feel good about it. And I was looking at the scraps, and there might be some of the favorite papers that I had. I think I had 3 that I really liked. I'm going to keep those scraps of the second sheet. Like full sheets, I won't get rid of them. But all the scraps, even if it's like 4 or 5 inches, I'm just going to chuck them out because like I said, not my favorite. So now I've drawn them all out, and I'm going to cut them out using just a pair of scissors. And these are my favorite scissors. They're from Stampin' Up. They are not by all means the cheapest pair of scissors. I think they're $40, but I really like them. Like, even for small intricate stuff, I don't use little scissors. I just use these so much that I'm used to those scissors, so I still use those big scissors even though I'm cutting out little things. And I just find, I think they're even good for fabric, but I just use them on my papers. What I did was I had actually bought 2 pairs, because I think one time I was allowed a free, if you're the hostess, I had gotten that as one of my free things, and so I got one for my ribbon and one for my papers. So it's going to take me a few minutes to cut all these out. And the picture I'm going to use at this point, I don't even know what picture I'm going to use at this point. But then I found a picture of my grandson, and the look on his face just looks like, since these are speech bubbles, it looks like he has all kinds of questions. And, kids, when they start talking, which, I mean, he says a few words, but he couldn't say that he started talking. They say the why, who, what, where. So that's sort of the page that I'm going to do today. It's sort of the questions that he's going to have when he gets a little older. So the background, I'm just going to put it on white so that, all the speech bubbles kind of stand out. And I find this month there was a lot of gray patterns, and I think that's why, it's not that I don't like gray, but it's really hard to mix it with other, if there's a lot of gray, it's hard to do the layering and stuff because it's all gray, and I'm more of a person that likes the bright colors. So now I just took an eraser, and I'm just erasing all the pencil lines, but I'm not erasing the numbers quite yet, because I want to remember, where everything sits. And then I took my Memento ink and one of my Tim Holtz sponges, and I'm going to ink all the edges in black. And then after that, I'm still going to find that they're not standing out enough. So I'm going to take a journaling pen and I'm going to outline everything. So I'm going to lay them out on the page using the numbers that I wrote on them. And towards the end, I couldn't remember how they actually fit. So I'm going to take out the template and kind of figure out where they fit. And then it doesn't matter because I end up switching two of them because I want the journaling paper in a different spot so that I can journal. So I don't know if I'm putting glue on these as I'm lifting them up or... Yes. So I just put a little bit of dot adhesive so that I could still move them around if I needed to. And at this point, I erased all the numbers in the center. And now I'm going to outline them with a journaling marker. And this journaling marker is from Close to My Heart. And it comes, I think you can buy one or two, but I bought the one that has the 5 journaling pens, and I don't even know if that's available yet or still in their catalog. I got those a couple of years ago. And they still are good, you know, like they still write okay and they don't skip or anything, so that's good. So at this point I had walked away because, like I said, I didn't know what picture yet I was going to use on the layout. And I'm doing this voiceover really early in the morning and the sun is coming in right into my eyes and I can barely see the computer. So I'm trying to, if I kind of pause, it's because I'm trying to place myself so that I can actually see the computer. So I matted the photo on navy blue cardstock and then some of that polka dot paper. And this was the second sheet of that pattern paper. And then I also used that cloud paper. And that's also the second sheet of that cloud paper that I used. And then I'm also going to cut another piece of that navy cardstock, and I'm just going to put a little bit more in the back just so that it stands out a little bit more against those speech bubbles. And then I'm going to use one of those crepe paper Maggie Holmes fabric frames, and I think I'm down to 2. I've used up pretty much the whole package. So now I'm going to outline all the I guess I thought I was going to outline all the background papers, but I just outlined the cloud paper. And then I'm going to stick all the layers down to my layout. And then I'm putting some ATG on that frame, and I'm just going to frame where he is. And then I use some of those basic gray wood chip letters, or they're not wood chip, they're just like thickers, and the title of the page is just "But Why?" And because that's the look that he had on his face. And now what I decided to do was, because this is speech bubbles, and again it's, you know, kind of questions that he might have, I decided to each speech bubble to be just, you know, question marks and other speech bubbles and butterflies and hearts and just sort of busyness of like what is going on in his head, because he can't say it into words. I'm sure his little head is just swirling. And then I found a number 5, and he was 5 months when I took this picture. So, and I'm also going to spell out months. And then I want to use some of those frames that we got in this month's kit. They were from Crate Paper, the Pure Collection. And I took one out, but I'm going to take out another one here in a little bit. And now I'm looking for some washi tapes. I'm just going to use a few different washi tapes. And these ones here are from My Mind's Eye decorative tape set, and it's green and navy. So I'm going to use the navy one, and I'm going to use it in a few spots. And it's just so that the speech bubbles, you know, they don't look like they're just floating there on the page. So most of them are going to be grounded by either touching each other with elements that are overlapping, or with washi tape grounding them to the page. And now I'm looking for some stickers, and I'm going to use some just little words that I'm going to put either on speech bubbles or next to an element. And I'm going to choose some navy ones and some teal one. And the words that I chose were cute, lovable, and charming in the navy. And then in the teal, I chose happy, sweet, and good. So I'm just kind of spreading them out between all the different speech bubbles. And this is one of the layouts when I looked, because I write down all the layouts in this book, since Scrapbook Process 60 in another book, or maybe it was on a sheet. I have it from 1 to 59, and so I wrote down, you know, not pretty much all the layouts, how much time it took. And this is probably one of my longest that it took me. It took me 2 hours and 20 minutes. And it's because it's got so much detail. I mean, just tracing all those speech bubbles out, and then cutting them out and erasing, and then inking, and then using the pen. And now instead of just 3 clusters, I have basically 16 different little clusters that I'm putting different things. I mean, I have 3 major clusters, you know, the 2 with the frames, and then around the photo. But then each little speech bubble also has a little bit of embellishments. So this was a good way to use up a lot of my stash. I used up some wood veneers, some My Mind's Eye buttons, and some enamel dots, some of the silver stars that came in the kit. What else? Some sequins, some twine, some letter stickers, some washi tape. I punched out some butterflies. And now I took out some of my favorite ribbon, or, you know, favorite ribbon right now, and it's from Stampin' Up. And it is in the new in color. And it's stretch ruffle trim, and I just love them. And it comes in 5 colors, and again, it's the in colors. And now I was just going to do but why, and then I thought of the 5 W's, you know, for journaling or journalist. What, where, when, who, and why. So I'm going to put them scattered around the page. And I had used an at in wood veneer, so then I decided to put the where with the at. So where at, and what with a question mark, who was with a question mark, and then just when. And now I'm punching out some butterflies with a Martha Stewart punch. I think it's called Classic Butterflies 3-in-1. I had a question about that on one of my last videos, and I did respond back to her in the comments, but I thought if anybody else had any questions about what punch that was. And now I'm using American Craft This to That dot adhesive, and I'm going to apply it to some twine, my favorite twine. It's the Aqua from Webster's Page. And, you know, I'm just kind of fussing with the different placements of all the different embellishments, and then I just kind of bundled up some of the twine and put it with the title also. And now I'm looking for some letters. I want to write out the word months for 5 months, and then I'm going to use my Hero Arts dauber, and it is the, what's it called? Tide Pool. So it matches all the Hero Arts mid-tone inks. And now I took out that second frame from the crepe paper collection. So I had to kind of rip off because I had glued down the wood veneer and all that stuff. So it did kind of make a little mess on the pattern paper, but it doesn't show too much. So I'm okay with that. And I found two just wasn't balanced, so I just added that third one so that it was a little bit more balanced. And then I used that stamp that we got in this month's kit. It says, "This makes me." And then I'm going to put down the word smile. And I'm just going to re-glue down those wood veneers, and I'm going to glue them down to the frame. And then I took out a few enamel dots, and I'm going to put them in the center of the butterflies just to kind of give them a little body. And then just randomly on the page also. And then I wrote down the month that I took the picture and the year. And this is where I use some of those silver stars. And then I'm just going to write down a little bit of the journaling. And I just put that this was his first trip, big trip. I mean, we had taken him on a few 2-hour trips, but this was like 14 hours or something like that. It was quite a ways. And that I could just see all the questions on his face, you know. And now I added some navy Mr. Huey, I couldn't think of the name, mist in a few spots on the page. And here are a few close-ups. And if you want to see more close-ups, you can go to 2 Peas in a Bucket or Studio Calico and look for Nicole Jones 911, or you can join me on Facebook, and the link is down below. Or I also post them on Pinterest, and that's just Nicole Jones, and you can join me there too. So that's it. The page is done. So I'll probably be doing a Kill a Kit video shortly. So thanks for watching. Bye.